Good morning, guys. I'm just hearing Bryce wake up now and wanted to start the vlog because today I am having my first doctor's appointment and ultrasound since my cerclage. It's been over 2 weeks since my cerclage and I really am anxiously wondering what my cervix is like, how the cerclage is doing, how the baby's doing. Cash is here. You guys asked about him. Cash, hey. There he is. He is usually, he's hearing his brother wake up right now. So we will go get him in a minute. Yep. Cash is he's a good boy. He's a good big brother and he's here. And he's usually just laying down. Like, Cash is our, how old are you, Cash? 4? 4-year-old black lab, almost 4. And he's a good boy. Anyways, so we will go to that appointment today, but first I have to get Bryce to daycare and then meet my husband because he's gonna come with to the appointments. When Bryce was like 4 months old, I became a freak about sleep training, which now I wish I would have waited till like 6 months. But this is why I'm glad I did it. It was so hard to try to sleep train, and I didn't try like a specific method. I just did, you know, I researched and thought, oh, I'd try that out, and then if that didn't work, I tried out another thing, but he has been sleeping through the night. Hopefully this doesn't jinx it. And when he wakes up, Cash, honey, he's so eager to go get his brother. But he just will wake up and he'll be in his crib for a little bit and talk to himself. And then I usually just go in there after he's had a few minutes to wake up. And I just pray that this baby is a sleeper like Bryce. Because this little boy is pretty good for nighttime naps. Now that's another story. Never, he wasn't ever a rock star napper. It was always kind of a struggle, but he likes going to bed at night. Okay, that's his blankie. He's a blankie boy. And we will be taking away the passy at 18 months. Once all of his teeth are in. Vlogger fail. I went to the doctor, my appointments, and left the camera because I got home from dropping off Bryce. I don't know what I was doing. I made breakfast, sat down for like a minute, and I looked at the clock and I was like, I need to go. Literally was still in my pajamas, had 4 minutes to get ready and out the door, but I made it to my appointment in time. I'm just in the garage. I had to let our dog out. And I went to my appointment, you guys, and it was the best ever. It couldn't have gone better. First off, that was my first appointment since my cerclage, and to kind of recap, I got my cerclage at about 15 weeks, and before the cerclage, my MFM, my high-risk doctor, really was advocating us towards cervical length monitoring, and we weren't completely set on that. We decided to go with the preventative cerclage, and when I got my cerclage, he told my husband, because I was kind of woozy, that we made the right choice, because if we would have done cervical length monitoring, we would have been down to the hospital to have an emergency cerclage in a few weeks because my cervix was softening. My cervix was still at about a 3, like a 3.3, I think it was the last check. And we just decided to do a preventative because in our minds, doing a preventative when your cervix is longer and closed, it's less risky than like our situation with my son Bryce. My cervix was dilated and opened, and my membranes were starting to bulge. So I'm glad we went through that decision. It was really hard coming off of the anesthesia. My uterus was very irritated, and that made me very nervous. I didn't have a 1 week check because I had an appointment scheduled for an ultrasound and my doctor's appointment 2 weeks after my cerclage. It kind of just landed that way, and I personally was like, I'm okay with that. Like, obviously at about a week I was like, I wish I knew what things were going on in that situation, but it was fine. I knew that if I felt anything to go in, get checked, I could, but I just really was like, you know, 2 weeks is fine. So this is 2 weeks post cerclage. I am 16 weeks, 6 days. Baby was measuring like spot on with that timing. My dog is like sniffing and walking around and everything like that. He's my buddy when Bryce is gone during the day, but I can definitely tell he's like, where is my brother? You want to say hello? Quite a few people have asked where you've been. They thought we got rid of you. Nope, never. You're a good boy, aren't you? You're a good boy. And when I said I was letting him out, like, I can let him outside in our yard and he doesn't go anywhere. He's so good. He just goes outside, does his business, and since it's so cold, he just is like, I'm coming right back in. So, in our old house, we had a fenced in backyard too, so he's kind of used to being independent, and we now have a way bigger yard. So he's gonna be a happy camper come this spring. What was I talking about? Okay, so go to the ultrasound, and she was doing like a full-on anatomy scan, which was really crazy. I didn't expect that. I thought it was gonna be like, check your cervical length, see if I can convince her to try to look at the gender, and I thought that was gonna be it, but she did like a full anatomy scan. She couldn't get things like the baby's heart. I'll go back at 20 weeks for that and not jump ahead of myself, but she measured everything else first, and then she had us look away so she could look at the gender, and then she wrote it down on a piece of paper and put it in an envelope, and my husband is now holding onto that envelope. He's not letting me hang on to it. And we're gonna go out to dinner tomorrow night and find out if baby's a boy or a girl. And that's how we found out the gender of our son, Bryce. We had them write it down. We just went out to eat. We opened it and we had that little celebration, just the two of us, and we were able to show our reaction and our emotion about it fully, because it was just the two of us. And I'm sure, like, I know I had like squealed, and Sean was like so excited that people were looking at us in the restaurant, but we didn't care. So we're gonna find out tomorrow. So in the next video, I will tell you guys, or you can follow me on Instagram. Guys, like, that's where I'm hanging out all the time and giving my most recent updates. So if you're not following me on Instagram, it's just my name, and you can follow me there. My cervix, listen to this. Oh gosh, sorry it's taken me more than like 5 minutes to say this. My cervix is a 4.7. You guys, that is miraculous for incompetent cervix. There is hope, my friends. There is hope. There is absolutely hope. We were shocked, and she said, you know, your bladder is super full, so that can sometimes stretch the cervix. And then when we went upstairs, my doctor's like, yeah, that's true, it can stretch it a little bit, but it's still probably over a 4. Like, if your bladder was empty, it's still probably over a 4. And she kind of just explained that a lot of times with the preventative cerclage, it closes, takes pressure off your cervix, and then your cervix kind of goes like, oh, well, it like closes, and sometimes that can happen. So it was just miraculous to hear that. Progesterone. If you follow me on Instagram and watch my other videos, you know we've kind of been on this teeter-totter about progesterone McKenna shots, okay? And I just found this out today, that with my son Bryce, I wasn't on the McKenna shot. I got a progesterone shot that a local pharmacy took progesterone, and I think it was like sunflower oil or something like that, mixed it together, and it was a formulated injection in that way. Something happened with the medical law side of things, saying that those type of progesterone shots can't be held to as a higher quality as something that, like the McKenna shot, is super manufactured. So from what we understood, the McKenna shot really has a monopoly on progesterone. And I did not have preterm labor with Bryce. My water never broke. When I went to the hospital, when I was in labor at 37 weeks, I was like 8 centimeters and my water bag was still holding, and my doctor actually had to break my water. So most of the time, that is the purpose of progesterone, from my understanding, is from it's irritable uterus, and prevention of preterm labor, like contractions and water breaking. So it's kind of a double-edged sword, because we have no determination of if the progesterone with Bryce was what worked, or if it solely was the cerclage. And we kind of went back and forth on it. And the first thing we thought to do is we need to see if insurance covers it. So she put in the order for insurance. We'll hear back within a week if my insurance covers it. If it does not, we'll really reevaluate. My husband does want to do more research on case studies with the McKenna shot, and we're still thinking about it. My heart is still leaning towards either. Like, it's really weird. I have this, my mother's intuition says, if I need it, the insurance will cover it. That's my sign. Some of you may not believe in that type of logic, but that's going to be my prayers is, Lord, if I need this progesterone shot, it will be easily covered by my insurance. That is my sign that it is necessary. If it is not, you know, because it's very expensive. You get these shots weekly, and there can be like $1,000 a pop. Like, that'd be $4,000 a month, which would be totally worth it, especially when it's necessary. I get that. So it's just kind of a double-edged sword. I didn't start progesterone shots with my son Bryce until 21 weeks, and that was recommended by an MFM that didn't do my surgery, and she wasn't my primary doctor. It was a MFM that was discharging me because with my emergency I had to stay in the hospital for a couple days. And the guy who did my cerclage and my doctor both said that they were shocked that this discharging doctor said, yeah, why not do P17 shots, and they wouldn't have in that situation. So it's just hard because it's like it could be completely necessary, and it could also not. And there just isn't a lot of studies out there that what's the long-term effects of a progesterone shot on mom or baby. And she just gave the example of, like, you know, years ago it was okay, like a lot of medications, it was like, it's okay to take this for nausea or that for this. And now, because it's been so many years later, they're finding those types of things aren't okay because of the effects that they had long term. So I know that that's like kind of a long winded answer, and a lot of incompetent cervix women will say like it's cerclage and progesterone, period. Like that's in bed rest and that's what works. And like I'm really trying to trust my intuition, and right now my intuition is telling me it's okay to think on it for this week. It's okay to research it some more. And I see, so I'm almost 17 weeks. I'm 16 weeks, 6 days. And I have another ultrasound at 20 weeks. And to me, it's like, we get this week to think about it, see what insurance says. I'll be able to call my doctor and talk to her about it. And my husband is also he's so smart and he's so good at finding good quality resources when it comes to this kind of stuff. And so I know we'll be able to make the decision together on this. Because obviously, and this is where, and my doctor's great, like she understood where I was coming from the emotional side and the personal side of progesterone. With my son, it worked and I went full term. I had progesterone, cerclage, and modified bed rest. Well, with this pregnancy, modified bed rest really is out because I have a 1.5-year-old, and there's really no evidence saying that bed rest is really super beneficial for a preventative situation. Now, if you're in an emergent situation, girl, be still. And if things were to start to change downward, I am resting a lot. Like I told you guys, I have help with Bryce 5 days a week so I can rest and take it easy majority of the time, right? And then progesterone and a cerclage. And like in my heart, it's like, well, we did that with Bryce and it worked. Why wouldn't we do that again? And then the deciding factor really for like the weight was when we really got explained, like, you didn't have the McKenna shot last time. You don't know if you're gonna have a reaction to this one. The other one was so pure. Like it's sad that I don't think it was the CDC, but some type of organization like that put a nix on this type of progesterone, because number one, it was a local pharmacy making it, and local pharmacies were making it. And it's like, okay, to take that away from local pharmacies, it's now taking away from businesses and putting it back into the pockets of manufactured shots. I don't know, kind of weird. It seems very, very sketchy to me. Like they have a monopoly on progesterone. Like that's it, from what I understood. And then, like, yeah, like I was saying, I have in my heart, like, that worked for Bryce. Like, let's repeat that. Because if I have preterm delivery, in my head, I'm going to be like, we should have done progesterone. We should have done progesterone. We should have done progesterone, right? So I don't know. But I'm feeling confident that I'll think about it for a week. I'm gonna do some more research, and yeah. If any of you did not have progesterone, let me know. But that's my update. It's super long. I apologize for that, but I do appreciate you guys watching, following my journey. I am here to spread hope to the incompetent cervix community. And I just thank you guys for your love, your prayers, and you sharing your stories with me. When you share your story with me, you are added to my prayer list, and I believe in the power of prayer. We'll make it through this, guys. We will. No matter what, we will make it through this. And this is hard. And I have a smile on my face right now because I just had an amazing doctor's appointment. But you know what? I'm going to have some hard days too. I'm going to have bad days too. But it's okay to celebrate and I'm so thankful for the good appointment that I did have. And it's very easy in our situation to, what am I trying to say? It's very easy in our situation to, you know, when we get good news, we're happy about it, but then we hold our breath kind of, in a sense, and expect bad news to come around the corner at any time, because with most of us, that's what's happened. It's either been a loss or an emergency cerclage, and you're like, I don't even know what this even means. I don't even know what my cervix does. How can I know if it's incompetent? Like, you know, and I just hope to give you hope that when you're going through this hard journey, to celebrate the really good days and be so appreciative and thankful of them. And if you can, take a breath and know this is really hard to go through, and it really sucks, the pain and heartbreak that this has caused so many. You're strong, and the storm will pass, and you will have a rainbow. And the storm sucks, but I pray for peace during storms for myself and for you. And I just, like I said, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys so much.